and gentlemen, welcome to the Lion's Den Show. And here's your host, Cody Robert Judy.
Hello and welcome to the Lion's Den Show. I'm your host and your toast, Cody Robert Judy. Cheers. It's good to be with you. Today is Monday, April 18th, 2011. And the wagons continue to circle around Obama's constitutional ineligibility, impropriety, and deception upon what is becoming a very hostile America towards his, I guess one could call it, his little fraudulent gains upon the American people. You know, Obama is playing America like she's a fool, like he's the best fast-talking con man in Washington, D.C. You know what? He's done some pretty smooth, fast talking. But the thing about America is she has heart. And while we the people may be slow to be taken in, once we catch on to the game, we are not slow at all. Today we're going to hit some folks pretty hard from a wide array of fields, including Michelle Bachmann, who's thinking about running for president, Sean Hannity, one of the top radio show hosts in America, who I actually like, and even a very lovely op-ed writer from the Washington Post, whose name is Mud. Actually, it's Kathleen Parker, and she is no Lois Lane. Opinion writers like Kathleen Parker, her columns are syndicated nationally by the Washington Post Writers Group, are not just covering up Obama's cover-up birthgate, but they are covering up the truth through their poor show of journalism. The shame of who's to blame is the name of the game for these alcoholics of journalism needing a fix for their own shakes. Listen to what she wrote in one of her April 15th entitled The Donald, the GOP plays a crazy trump card. And I quote, "Herewith, if there even was one iota of evidence suggesting that Obama was not born in this country, does anyone really think that Hillary Clinton wouldn't have raised it during the campaign? Really? Yes, Kathleen, I really think that." And she continues, "The Clintons don't just have people, they have armadas of political machinery. If Obama were born anywhere but where he says he was born, we'd all be saying Madame President, and Bill's Bubblicious barbecue sauce would be nudging Paul Newman's marinara off grocery store shelves." Unquote. Well, that's cute, Ms. Parker, but let's take your journalism skills to task a little, because I think you can do better. Especially if you put your apron on, turn the oven on broil, and start using the tools of journalism on Congress's duty to hold a hearing of verification for qualification. Instead of your own kitchen excuses for burning the chicken, you're trying to choke down the American people's throat. It's time to sit up to the table like a big girl and take a bite of what you're trying to serve. I don't think you're gonna like it. It's Hillary's fault. Well, except Hillary got a cushy job as Secretary of the State in Obama's cabinet. Her campaign debts paid in full. By the way, who decided campaigns can go in the hole and get bailed out by the people's contributions to another candidate? Anyway, and if that's all good, how come Obama didn't bail me out and pay me every last dime I spent running for president in 2008 against two people who weren't even qualified, Obama and McCain? And the biggest calculation of the Clintons would be to let the housing crisis play out as a ride on a wobbly roller coaster set up on Bill Clinton's watch as the stronger strings of debt management were intentionally loosened on his watch. Why let Hillary Clinton take the fall? Obama may be the biggest whipping boy that the Clintons could possibly have hoped for. The fire's desire for oxygen is racing after you, Ms. Parker. Ms. Parker has passed the Constitution's restraints on a U.S. president up in the air for a question of monetary value. Is there anything wrong with the value of constitutional principle, Miss Parker? The question, why wouldn't Hillary have done it? Rather than ask the question to Congress, why don't you hold a hearing of verification on Obama? Do you really think Hillary Clinton's money-making ability as the president is the patent to letting Obama off the hook in not producing anything but a lie? This country wasn't founded on a treasury of monetary gain. It was founded on the value of principles the elite seem to have forgotten and that manifested by their own actions, of which the American people will not forget quickly. This story, Ms. Parker, is about how Obama got a Connecticut Social Security number, why he has no law bar license. Oh my, this will be one of the things that saves this country. Trump's done a lot of work on this, no doubt. Obama's certificate of live birth is not a long-form birth certificate. Barry Soetoro is hiding something in his past. Let's listen in on Sean Hannity's interview with potential candidate Mr. Donald Trump for a minute.
A lot has been made over the birth certificate issue, and you have said in previous interviews that you have a team of investigators in Hawaii now looking into it. It's
Correct.
got a lot of press. Everyone's
Correct.
asking you about it.
Right.
And what have you come up with your investigators?
Well, I don't want to say that now, but it's going to be very interesting. But I don't want to say it now, Sean, but I will say this. I don't love this issue. I'd much rather be talking about how China is ripping us off, how OPEC's right. That's what I'm really good at. I understand it. I can do such a great job. But this issue came up about 6 weeks ago, and I've heard about it for years, but I never thought too much about it. And I assumed he was born in this country. But 6 weeks ago, I started really looking into it. He's got a certificate of live birth. That's, by the way, despite what certain liberal press says, that's not a birth certificate. It's a big, big step lower. In fact, in some places, you can't get married or get a driver's license with a certificate of live birth, okay? So I say to myself,
And it only has a stamp, no signature.
It's got a stamp. It's got a stamp. No, it's got a stamped signature. By the way, I have my birth certificate. I think I'll show it. I think I'm going to bring it down to Boca Raton this weekend.
Okay.
But I have mine. It's got stamps. It's got 3 different signatures. It's got everything. Everything's official. You have to see this thing. It's like a certificate of live birth is not appropriate. Now, I say to myself, why? A few just simple questions. Why doesn't he show his birth certificate? Number one. You know, they say it's sealed. Well, but for the person, you can release it. If it's a person, you can release. Sure, it's sealed. It should be sealed. That's great. But the person, you know, I actually sent to New York for my birth certificate. And they actually got on the phone. They said, Mr. Trump, I'm sorry to do this, sir. You have to give me your Social Security number. You have to prove it's really you I'm talking to, Papa. I went through a whole big thing. Okay, but when they figured out it was actually me, they sent it to me. I had to pay $38, and they sent me my birth certificate. They could do the same thing with him. And I say, why did he spend millions of dollars on trying to stay away from this issue? Why doesn't he give his birth certificate?
Well, the one thing on his side is that they had these announcements in the newspapers
Means
8
nothing.
days after.
8 days later.
Yeah.
It was 8 days. Look, he's got a grandmother in Kenya who said he was born in Kenya at the hospital. Then there was bedlam in the room. Bedlam. I don't mean like a little, you know, because he was close to becoming president. And there were a lot of people in that room. And she was talking to a reporter with a lot of handlers, a lot of Obama handlers. So they have the grandmother, she said Kenya. Then all of a sudden, 51 seconds later, he asked a question again. And you hear people scream, no, no, Hawaii, Hawaii. Okay, give me a break. Now, the other one was 8 or 9 days later from the reported birth date. But you don't know if it was even the reported. But they could have easily come from Kenya or someplace.
The issue could go away in a minute. Just show the certificate.
I don't understand. Why doesn't he show? Why did he spend millions of dollars on trying to stay away from the issue? Now, it's one of two things. Either he wasn't born in the country, or he doesn't have a birth certificate or there's something on the birth certificate that he doesn't want people to see.
What do you think that could be?
I don't know. I mean, maybe
Does that have to do with religion?
Maybe it says he's Muslim, which wouldn't bother me. I mean, if it's that thing, you know, if that's it, it's it. It's what it is.
He went to a Muslim school in Indonesia. He talks about studying the Quran. He talks about one of the most beautiful moments being, you know, prayer time at sunset.
Look, he was born Barry Soetoro. somewhere along the line he changed his.
Now, Ann Dunham was born in St. Francis Hospital in Wichita, Kansas. That's Barack Obama's mama. How come we don't know where and what hospital Barack Obama, if his name is Barack Obama or Barry Soetoro, how come we don't know what hospital he was born in? She was born in the Wichita, Kansas hospital, St. Francis Hospital, as the only child of Madeline Lee Payne and Stanley Armour Dunham. Lolo Soetoro could be Obama's real legal father. He was raised Muslim in Indonesia. Mother dropped him as a dependent for some reason. Passport records of his mother, who have been produced, shows he was dropped as a dependent by his mom. He went to live with his alleged grandparents, who coincidentally lived at the same address the newspaper announcements reported his parents lived. His certificate of live birth showing no doctor's record, no hospital record. He was registered in a school under Barry, no proof or legal connection between the name Barry Soetoro and the name Barack Obama, but we do know of legal connections between Barry Soetoro and the person in the White House, that being school entry records. The writing on the wall is plain to see. We have a frantic mother calling her folks saying, "I have the child here in Kenya, but my old man's a loser and won't be able to support me. I need help raising him. Call the Department of Health and get a certificate of live birth and just use your address and I'll hop the next plane." So we have no Hawaii hospital and no physician testifying for Obama's birth, but we have lots of testimony from Kenya. He was born there, his grandmother being told by handlers of Obama she misspoke when she said he was born in Kenya. The problem with this is every vote for Obama was basically a vote for a non-recognized person with no history at all, and no official record of a name change from what he was recognized as most of his life, Barry Soetoro. Barry Soetoro did not receive any votes, but he's in the White House. Barack Obama never went to grade school, never went to high school or Occidental College. He just starts off with a Harvard degree. Talk about being born with a silver spoon in your mouth. I'm Cody Robert Judy saying cowboy up and spur 'em in the guts. Be sure to check out part B and C of this episode.